Hey, how you guys doing? This is my name's Bobo. I'm a recovered alcoholic addict. Uh, this is real, raw, and recovered. This is a uh, this is a non-profit organization that we're putting together. Me, my sponsor, a lot of my sponsees, and others who are members of a 12-step group that I'm with, who has elected to use the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and who have found the solution as outlined in the big book. So, what I'd like to do is I'd like to recap on the doctor's opinion just slightly, and the second step just slightly, and make this a short clip to get the attention of those who have heard their story and what's been said already to get our attention on what we're after, exactly what we are trying to treat here before we get into a step 3 lecture, which will be uploaded soon after this. So, in the doctor's opinion, the doctor gets to this part on XXVIII, and he says, the message which can interest and hold these alcoholic people must have depth and weight. In nearly all cases, their ideas must be grounded in a power greater than themselves if they are to recreate their lives. The problem is that there is so much offered out there as a means of recreating my life that doesn't have depth and weight and isn't founded in the ideals of a power greater than myself. And so, for the real alcoholic, as much as there is indeed a lot of people who seem to get help by these groups, these treatment centers, these psychological efforts, these clinical approaches, there's a lot of people that get helped by that. These people who get helped by that are not real alcoholics and addicts. In nearly every case, their ideas must be grounded in the power greater than themselves if they are to recreate their lives. So the doctor starts off by talking about the cycle of addiction. He says at the bottom of page XXVIII, he says, they are restless, irritable, and discontented unless they can again experience the sense of ease and comfort which comes at once by taking a few drinks or hits or shots or snorts they see others taking with impunity with no harm after they have succumbed to the desire again, as so many do. The phenomenon of craving develops. They enter into the well known stages of a spree where a lot of the consequences happen. I emerge remorseful. Sometimes I don't emerge remorseful and make a firm resolution. Sometimes I emerge remorseful and just say fuck it and just try to stay fucked up. But the natural course of the cycle is emerge remorseful with a firm resolution. So I've sworn off. I've made my mind up to quit. I'll start going to meetings or I'll get in treatment. And at this particular point, I'm I'm just white knuckling and I'm not dealing with my internal issue. I want to point out that this restless, irritable, and discontent is the place after quitting that I have to have the psychic change. This is the place after quitting that I've got to have this spiritual awakening. This is the place after quitting that my dis-ease is exposed. My restless, irritable, and discontented is exposed. This is the place for the real alcoholic and addict where I'm not fucking making it just because I'm making meetings. This is the place where I am not being treated internally for my spiritual malady with the concept of meeting, make, or make it. Just keep coming back. Fake it till you make it. 90 and 90. Avoid people, places, and things. Don't go around the barbershop or you'll get a haircut and all that old kind of bullshit. It's almost like it's a big fucking secret because I don't, at this particular point with my sickness, I don't have the ability to articulate the words of what's going on inside of me. So any program that doesn't have this doctor's opinion and show this cycle so that I can get down to what it is I need treated won't work for the real alcoholic. On page 60, it says there's 3 pertinent ideas: that I'm alcoholic, a real alcoholic, and cannot manage my own life. That B, probably no human power could relieve my alcoholism. That means whether it's one person and his human power or a group of people and their human power could relieve my alcoholism. And C, that God could and would if he was sought. And so it's imperative that I know that he's the only one that can meet me in this malady and break the cycle. This is what I look like 5 years of hanging around the rooms without the objective of having a spiritual experience, without the objective of seeking a psychic change by spiritual means. This is what it looked like. So I got this shit going on internally that I feel like I can't even tell nobody because they telling me a whole lot of superficial, surface level shit that says if I just don't use, life will get better and it's gonna be okay. Well, I'm not fucking okay, but I don't feel like I can tell you about it, so I say I'm fine. So here's the spiritual malady on my ass, right? Internally, I'm sick. I'm restless, irritable, discontented, afraid, guilty, ashamed, self-pity, remorse, humiliated, embarrassed. I don't fit in. I'm still not one of you, even though I'm declaring that I'm in this fellowship. I am all by myself. You'll ask me, am I okay? And I'm going to tell a motherfucking lie and say I'm cool. I'm good. This is the malady. This is the reason I go back to using. This is what no human power can deal with. And this is what I need to know for complete deflation before I can even enter into a spiritual program of action that requires dependence on God or on a power greater than myself. That's the ism. That's the restless, irritable, and discontentedness. Later on in the big book, after I've been through some work, after I have made an inventory and I've faced some of the ways that I show up, on page 85, it'll say, we are not cured of alcoholism. That's the thing that I'm not cured of. I'm not cured of that ism. I'm recovered from it, meaning I have had a spiritual awakening as a result of the steps. What I really have is a daily reprieve, contingent on the maintenance of my spiritual condition. Every single day, I must carry the vision or the idea of I need God or the pursuit of this connection to a power greater than myself into all of my activities, or this eventually, for the real alcoholic and addict, will become too much for me to bear alone. This will not be dealt with just because my attendance record is up to par. This won't be dealt with just because I've refused to use. This is the pain that begins to erase my firm resolution. This is the reason I can't bring into my consciousness with sufficient force the memory of the humiliation and suffering from even a week or a month ago. This is the reason I'll go back to using after 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, after everything outside of me is looking good, and rationally and intellectually I should be grateful and happy. I'm not. The outside don't fix the inside. And the inside can only be fixed by a spiritual experience. And that's got to be the reason why I'm working this program. The whole purpose of this book, says page 45, is to get me in touch with a power greater than myself, which would solve my problem. This is my problem. Dope and alcohol whoop my ass because I use dope and alcohol to give me a sense of ease and comfort in my problem. On page 87, they throw in a little thing that says, we constantly remind ourselves we are no longer running the show. It says, I'm in much less danger of excitement, worry, fear, anger, foolish decision. I'm not quoting it. And it says, I become much more efficient, for I'm not burning up energy foolishly as I did when I was trying to arrange life to suit myself. And so me playing God, trying to make the outside of me to my liking, thinking that that's what's going to satisfy me, is a big part of my ism, is my discontentedness, restlessness, and irritableness. It's a big reason why just making meetings don't make me. I'm not making it just because I'm making meetings. I'm not making it just because I did 90 and 90. I am not making it just because I have broke the habit, the habitual act of putting chemicals in my system. I'm still restless, irritable, and discontent. On page 66, it says, but with the alcoholic whose hope is in the maintenance and growth of a spiritual experience, that's the reason why I'm doing this work. So step one, in its entirety, describes what has happened to my body and describes a spiritual malady what has happened in my mind. The problem of the alcoholic centers in the mind rather than in the body. I am unable to manage the decision, stay stopped. I'm unable to be okay in my own skin just because I stopped. And I am unable to refuse continuously not to pick up again because I do indeed need a sense of ease and comfort. I'm going to either get it by doing some dope, or I'm going to get it because I've had a psychic change and I have made conscious contact with a power greater than myself. So this is just a pre-video just to prep me. I'm going to gather the momentum of the desperation of my hopeless situation from step one. Even though I can't say at this point I believe in a power greater than myself, I can say that somebody's finally spoke my language, and if they have the testimony or the opinion that God has done to them what they couldn't do for themselves, then I want that. If I don't know shit else, it doesn't require that I'm religious. It doesn't require that I understand everything about the God concept. All that is required is that I am willing to believe, which means I want to, because there is nothing else out there for me. We will also be uploading videos that include other people who are a part of Real Raw and Recovered. I am not the only one who has had this experience with the problem or with the solution. There is, of course, my current sponsor. There's, of course, a lot of guys who I've sponsored and guys whom they have sponsored and other guys who are my companions in this program, who we will also be uploading group discussions concerning these steps, what their experience has been with the work. We want to answer some hard questions, some questions that the sick person would be asking naturally. And man, we just hope that we're able to reach some guys. We're just trying to fit ourselves for maximum service to God and our fellows. Uh, by no means is this an attempt to exalt self. I am not the only one who has found this solution. I am not the only one who has recovered from a seemingly hopeless state of mind and body. And there are many other people who agree with what we're doing here. So there's two elements in the cement that bind us together. We have a common problem and we have a solution upon which we can absolutely agree. You need both of those elements before you'll ever have a real fellowship for the real alcoholic and the real addict. Then, when we have an appropriate diagnosis of the problem, an appropriate plan of action for a solution upon which we can absolutely agree, then we can join together in brotherly and harmonious action. The next video will be about step 3, making a decision to turn our will and life over to the care of God. And I hope you get what it is you need to get your problem solved. I love y'all. I'll see you soon.